well, here we are. This is the last show that we get to talk about this WrestleMania weekend, rather in our chronology at least. This might be uploaded first, I don't know. But Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Yeah, we don't talk about Ring of Honor a lot on the CNT Wrestling Show, do we?
We don't. This was a fun idea I had because I wanted a little bit of non-WWE action in our WrestleMania weekend because we missed out on everything non-WWE the first time we went to WrestleMania. And I've had a lot of memories with Ring of Honor and seeing it go out of business, but then getting bought by Tony Khan. I feel like this was a good opportunity to go and see a Ring of Honor show. So this was really fun. Kind of to me, this was going to be like a chill night of wrestling, but this ended up being like one of the best shows I've ever seen live. Funny story.
Damn.
So this was probably the busiest day on our WrestleMania weekend. We went to WrestleCon that morning, and our plan originally was to go straight from WrestleCon to Ring of Honor. But we met everybody we wanted to meet, and we left like an hour before the session ended. So we decided to be the old men that we are and go back to the hotel room for some rest. Let's just say we rested a little too long, and we saw that bell time was going to be 4 o'clock. So we hauled ass to the Galen Center. But here's the thing: hauling ass in LA is not possible at all. We got stuck in traffic for like 30 minutes, and then finding parking was a pain in the ass. We thought we were going to miss like part of the opener. We got to the arena, and just to find out 4 o'clock was the pre-show.
Yeah, so we were there from I was basically hauling ass for no reason. Like, we missed a Jeff Cobb match, which is kind of sad, but I'm going to have a lot of chances to see Jeff Cobb live. So,
yeah, I shot him a personal message and said, "Hey man, I missed part of your match, but it was really cool to see you in Ring of Honor." He said right after that he hopped on a plane and went back to Japan to wrestle some New Japan. So cool that he got a little taste of WrestleMania weekend.
There you go.
But this was
He's
really
a busy
fun.
man.
This was really, really, really fun. We had some really good seats for this one, and this was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of surreal to be in attendance for a show with ROH on it, because I didn't think it would be at all possible, because ROH only runs on the East Coast. And I missed the Ring of Honor show when WrestleMania was in San Jose. They were running the Ring of Honor show in Redwood City, I want to say, that year, which is like a weird statement.
Exactly, yeah. And just a quick, how I discovered Ring of Honor, I was just channel flipping one night. It was like a Saturday night. This was 2009, so I was like 14 years old. And I'm just see ROH wrestling. And, being before the age of like streaming and all these other wrestling promotions, I was going to take every possibility I got to get more pro wrestling in my life. And I was still an avid TNA fan. I was still a WWE fan, but I flipped on and I saw Kevin Steen and El Generico in a tag team match. And I thought they were so freaking cool. And I thought Kevin Steen was like so fun to watch at his size doing the stuff that he could do. And then fast forward 15 years later, and we're watching Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn main event WrestleMania and win the tag team titles. So that's my introduction to Ring of Honor. I've always kept up with them, and every chance I got to watch a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, whether it be on their streaming service, they're just straight up buying some DVDs, because ROH they had a stranglehold on the DVD market. And that's how I was able to watch like the best of Samoa Joe or the best of AJ Styles, the best of CM Punk, was through a lot of these compilation DVDs. And they would run a lot of house shows that they would then again sell on DVD. And it was a fun time back then to be a professional wrestling fan and basically get a hold of all this wrestling footage that I never saw before. And then a lot of stars from Ring of Honor would go up to TNA, would go to WWE, would be mainstays in AEW, and
Brian Danielson.
So it was very fun. Yeah. Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, the Young
Nigel
Bucks,
McGuinness.
a lot of people. Yeah.
And they actually did bring out Nigel McGuinness to be the third man on commentary with Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni. And Nigel was pumped to be there, and he got a big pump. He got a humongous ovation in the arena.
Yeah. So we knew that McGuinness was going to get signed by AEW, but apparently nobody had any idea that McGuinness was going to be a Ring of Honor. He got a huge pop from the crowd, which was really cool. Real quick, we want to make a note of the pre-show matches. We had Willie Mack taking on Konosuke Takeshita in a fun little babyface match. Willie Mack is now All Elite, but I remember seeing Willie Mack in my neck of the woods at some of the indie shows I would go to. So it's really cool to see Mack making his rounds, being in AEW, being in TNA, being in in Ring of Honor. WWE, you dropped the ball on him. You signed Willie Mack, and then like 3 months later, you released him. So
Mm-hmm.
you're lost. You're lost, WWE. But Willie Mack could be tearing it up right now in WWE. But we see him in other places, and that's really cool.
Yes,
Takeshita,
indeed.
I think we've said a lot about him on this pod. He's awesome. And seeing him exclusive to the States now is really cool. And he's like a Japanese like John Cena or Cody Rhodes. Like he has this aura to him that's like you can't help but not like this. You can't help but like this guy.
He's
He's
very
really
young
good.
too. He's
Yeah.
very young, so he's got a long way to go. He had Willow Nightingale win a match on the pre-show as well. Takeshita beat Willie Mack, by the way, after about 10 minutes or so. Stu Grayson wrestled a match, and he encountered the Righteous afterwards. Vincent came out, and Tomas was very surprised to see Vincent.
Yeah, because here's the thing: when you're in a environment where not everybody knows, it's not like a WWE. Somebody makes a huge return, everybody knows. When you don't have the commentary, and I had to kind of explain this. The Righteous made their return basically, but there was a lot of rumors that Vincent had signed with WWE. They didn't know if he was going to go to WWE or go to TNA or to go to Impact Wrestling. I should say? But that's why it was a little surprising to see him back in Ring of Honor. But good for him if he's more comfortable staying where he got his notoriety from. Very good for him. But we were ready, and this crowd was pumped, and we got the best opener of the weekend, in my opinion.
Oh
It
God.
is Vikingo defending his AAA mega title against Komander. And when you see that match on paper, or El Hijo de Vikingo, I should say, when you see that match on paper, you just, what you're in for. But I don't think we were prepared for the match that we were going to get. Of course, we saw Vikingo
Good
in the
Lord.
main event of Dynamite take on Kenny Omega a couple weeks ago. And we saw Komander in the Casino ladder match for a shot at the TNT title. And he was doing some crazy stuff in that match too. So
It's a sexy match on paper, as you would say, right?
It really is. And this was fantastic.
Yes.
My girlfriend.
Yeah. 3 words. This is Lucha.
Yeah,
Everybody was chanting that.
that's
And I'm
La
like,
Lucha.
that's what it
My
is.
girlfriend loves the high flyers. She loves the ricochets. She loved watching 205 Live with me, actually. She loved watching Cedric Alexander and Tony Nese and Brian Kendrick and TJP back when that was super hot. And she would actually go out of her way to ask me, like, can we watch some 205 Live? I love the cruiserweight. So I leaned over to her, and we were both tired from Wrestle Kingdom, but I said, you're going to love this match. I guarantee you're going to love this match. And this is not a match we can call move for move, because they were doing stuff that I don't even know what the fuck you call, but
Yeah,
they were just
do a
it was
fucking
mind-blowing.
Komander walking the tightrope on literally walking the tightrope all the way across the ring so gracefully, and he hits a tope on the outside. Vikingo hits a destroyer, like a crazy ass looking destroyer where he flips off the ropes and lands perfectly on the outside. Like, I look over and Tomas is about to have a freaking stroke next to me, like, just with how good this match was and how
It's
crazy
like,
it was.
Vikingo does this thing where he'll basically do like a 450 into a Hurricane Rana, and it's just like these guys are unreal. And then obviously we got to talk about the spot that Vikingo is most famous for, but it didn't go that well in this match, unfortunately. He sets Komander up on a table, and then he does like a springboard 630. And this move is kind of
Yes.
controversial because on Dynamite, he damn near killed himself against Omega. But this time around, the table didn't break. And it was still a nasty looking spot, but not what they were going for. Maybe they need to fortify that spot a little more, because
Maybe a
it's
little
not
bit.
working right now. But I'm no one to talk. I mean, these guys are doing like triple, quadruple somersault, moonsault, 450 splashes all over the place, and it was just a joy to watch. And I didn't think I was going to be this mind blown in the first match.
Yeah, for a match that had nothing to do with Ring of Honor and you have a AAA championship on the line, like, these guys certainly made the most out of their showcase. Vikingo eventually, of course, retains the championship with a springboard 630, as he was, oh man, he was pulling those out like nothing. And it was just This was a delight. I'm gonna call it 4.5 stars. It was honestly, this might have been my favorite match all night, which
It was
is
really good.
yeah.
I'm gonna give it 4.25 stars. Because I think they gave us absolutely everything we could have wanted and more. I feel like that could have been a lot better if there was some like variety in there, maybe some strong style, maybe some,
Mhm.
when it's all one style, you can only be so good. But that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm one to talk. They were doing things in this match that I didn't even know were possible. So I want to see some
Fantastic
more
near
Elliot and
falls in this
Vikingo in the
too.
States.
Fantastic near falls. I mean,
Yeah,
it was pretty apparent that Vikingo is going to retain his title here because this is a Ring of Honor sanctioned show and the AAA championship is on the line. But Komander made you believe that he had it at a couple points. He hit his
yeah. It
hidden ace
was.
finisher. Great
This is
false finish, but yeah,
this is
I
the
dug it.
perfect example where you could have absolutely no clue who Vikingo and Komander were going into this match, and that wouldn't matter because these guys just it was so fun to watch. Yeah,
Yes.
very, 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 very fun opener. And honestly, it was the adrenaline rush I needed to get excited for this show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The crowd was just like gave it a standing ovation a few times. We had to stand up in our section a few times actually. It was just delight. And I was just sitting there like, I don't know how the rest of the card is gonna top this. No disrespect to everybody else, but it's like great babyface match. They adhere to the code of honor. They shake hands after the match, of course, and it's just I loved it. I absolutely loved it. If nothing else, definitely seek this match out in my humble opinion. But up next, we have a kind of a I don't want to call it a filler match, but you have the Embassy, who is led by Brian Cage, defending the Ring of Honor 6-man titles against Metalik, Blake Christian, and AR Fox. And you want to talk about having a stroke? That's a random trio that makes me want to just freaking keel over and just puke. But I mean,
Hey, they're all good wrestlers.
they're all good wrestlers, but it's all thrown together. And I'm like, okay, Brian Cage isn't re-signing, so what? You're just gonna have a random trio hold the 6-man titles? Like,
Yeah, I want to get into some history about the Embassy. The Embassy is the longest running faction in Ring of Honor history. I remember watching them when I first discovered Ring of Honor, and then I would get this. I would rent Ring of Honor DVDs on Netflix. Yeah, remember when you could rent movies from Netflix? And I remember
yep.
ordering like watching some of these shows. I think it was like The Best of Blood or something like that. It was like ROH's version of Bloodsport. But all the way back in like 2003, the Embassy was a thing, and Prince Nana was the leader, and you had guys like Abyss in there. So I love the longevity of this faction, how they could have different members in it, but it's not going anywhere, and I love it. I even a few times match threw up the Embassy sign because it's just I respect longevity, and Prince Nana doesn't age. Like this man has been managing for over 20 years, and he still looks the same as he did in 2003.
It
Um,
is it is a faction that refuses to die. I'll tell you that much.
yeah.
Let me
This was
the
a fun
Galen
match.
Center, it was a fun enough match, but a great venue, by the way, on USC, the Galen Center, and we'll put that over in the podcast as well. But in the experience podcast rather. So stay tuned for that, viewers. But they just weren't as into this match. I think partially because the Lucha match was just before this, and they were just so freaking like exhausted from it.
It's like here's the thing: AR Fox is another guy who was known for his world renowned like insane offense, but we just saw that in the last match. So we were just winded from the last match, and Metalik, he's awesome in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake Christian is a fantastic wrestler, but the thing that had me going about this match is the ongoing rumor that this show on this very night, Brian Cage's AEW contract was expiring. So it's like you can't be a part of Ring of Honor because they're owned by AEW. So I was just like, well, Fox, Christian, and Metalik aren't the team I would expect to take the titles off the Embassy, but Cage has to drop the titles. Little did I know that Cage was going to nail Christian with Drill Claw and retain the 6-man tag team titles for the Embassy. So I kind of just threw up my hands and said, well, I guess Cage isn't going anywhere. And no, he's not. Cage just re-signed a 5-year deal with AEW.
5 years. 5
Yeah.
years. Yeah. It's
I
just,
don't want to be that guy, but better put the fucking world title on him if we want him to stick around for 5 years.
I mean, I doubt that. I love Brian Cage and everything like that, but I don't know if I see that happening. Maybe I saw it happening during
Um,
the pandemic when he challenged John Moxley and everything, but no.
Peak Brian Cage was when he was an Impact, holding the X Division title and the world title. But
Hmm.
I love Cage. He's a Sacramento native. He's from Chico, so really cool to see him here. I'm gonna give it 2 3/4 stars. This was fun enough. I mean, and also only 8 minutes. You can only do so much in 8 minutes, but
Yeah.
can't complain. You got Cage, you got Fox, you got Metalik. Some great high flyers in their own right.
I'll match 2 3/4 stars for an 8-minute multi-person tag team style match. Certainly did not hold a candle to the men's WrestleMania showcase that we would get the next day. That's for sure. So, could have been better, but it was there. But up next, the title matches just keep on coming, and we didn't have any video packages or anything like that. It just went from match to match to match, boom, 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 and I really respected that about this show. It was
Yeah.
like get in, get out, and then next match.
And if we did get a video package, it was a quick, like 30-second snippet of the two wrestlers just trash talking each other. This was an interesting match. Athena versus Yuka Sakazaki for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Athena has been exclusive to Ring of Honor since the merge happened, and Athena won the Women's Championship, I think, from Mercedes Martinez
Yes.
at Final Battle. And ever since then, she has transitioned. And I don't want to say this is new for her because it's not, but this vicious heel that she just she spats on the fans. She is known for beating up referees. She is super overly aggressive. She's not stiff, ladies and gentlemen. She's being aggressive.
She's
So
a
stop with
fantastic
that.
heel.
Stop calling her stiff and unsafe. She's not. She's being aggressive.
Can we put over
I-
Athena's entrance real quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was,
So Yuka Sakazaki comes out like a normal baby face and everything. The crowd likes her.
girl.
Yeah, she's a magic girl. She's dressed up like the genie or whatever. So, Athena, her entrance, there is a little mannequin doll just sitting on stage all by her lonesome. There's a music box in the background. It's kind of creepy. And then Athena comes in through the darkness and just stomps on the doll, kicks it out of the way. And I'm like, that's freaking dope. That is freaking dope.
That's
She's
what
a bully.
Athena is. She's a bully.
And I don't know if the doll was dressed up like Sakazaki and it was like teasing voodoo magic or something like that, but I dug it. I dug the entrance.
But I'm really digging this this aggressive persona from Athena. And if people were so shocked by this, she had to go on her own account in interviews and say, guys, before WWE, this was what she was all about. So I feel like she got this reputation since she was in WWE for being, the heroic babyface. And then when she went back to being her true self in AEW Ring of Honor, it's like, no, guys, this isn't new. You're just not used to it. It's new to you, but it's not new to Athena.
Yeah. Clearly, it's not new to people who didn't follow Athena's career on the Indies, but I mean, it was a fun enough little match here. Athena had a lot of heat throughout this. She dominated. Yuka Sakazaki made a brief comeback, but Athena eventually hits her with the Eclipse and pins her. So
yeah, and I feel like that was this match's Achilles heel. Athena's heat kind of overtook most of the match. So I feel like the crowd was very quiet for this one. I'm probably still cooling down a little, but I still liked it, and I was still, wanting to cheer for Sakazaki because she's a great babyface in her own right. But Athena was not dropping the title at this show. I feel like Ring of Honor, a lot like AEW, they need to build somebody up that the fans are really going to get behind. And I feel like, again, Tony Khan is booking Ring of Honor just like he's booking AEW. And I feel like he's making the same mistakes here like he did in AEW. And he saw, look at Willow Nightingale. She's over as fuck. I'm going to immediately give her a title shot. No, they should have saved Willow Nightingale because Willow Nightingale is actually the one I want to see dethrone Athena. But they're doing this all ass backwards. You don't give her the title shot, have her lose, and then have her work her way back up to another title shot. They should have kept her as far away as Athena from possible, slowly build her up, give her all these wins, and then boom, big title match. But Tony Khan, not to be gross, but Tony Khan sure just loves blowing his load at the very first chance he gets.
I'm not going to talk about building a snowman because that's, that doesn't happen where I'm from. Yikes. Yeah, Tony Khan actually did cut a promo before the show proper actually began, and he thanked us all for being here. It was very brief. Tomas was making some pretty funny chants that I can get into on the experience pod as well. But
How weird was it that Tony Khan was in the same city as WrestleMania? He was like just miles away from Triple H, and you want to talk about the multiverse of madness? You ever see Tony Khan and Triple H at the same time on the same screen? I will probably, my head will explode.
Well, maybe Tony Khan was sitting on the floor at WrestleMania 18 because he said he was in that building live in the Sky Dome. So I don't know. We might have to look back on that. So, okay, this next match is actually the one I was looking forward to the most on this card, believe it or not. It is the awesome Mark Briscoe challenging Samoa Joe for the television championship of the world. Mark Briscoe comes out with both of the old Ring of Honor tag team titles, which Tony Khan has allowed him to keep in honor of his late brother Jay. Reach for the sky, damn boys. That is a classy move on his part. Mark Briscoe's whole extended family is sitting in the front row. He greets them. And I'm like, Samoa Joe, I love you, but you stand no chance in hell. You stand no chance in hell today.
This was the obvious. This is finally our opportunity to talk about this. Mark Briscoe is the strongest individual in the world. He lost his brother in a tragic car crash, and then literally 2 weeks later, he is wrestling on TV.
Wrestling Jay Lethal.
Yeah, he's wrestling Jay Lethal. He's on Dynamite almost every week. He's back on Ring of Honor, and he is just like, he's out there playing it off like nothing happened. And the amount of strength and bravery and courage it takes him to continue going. He's cut a couple of promos that have almost had me in tears, especially when he was talking about the battle royals for the AEW tag team titles. And he talked about, you know, he had a dream that he was out there and he was like, where's my brother? We're supposed to be wrestling. And he said, no, my brother's not here. He's upstairs chilling with the Lord. And I'm just like, really going to make a grown ass man cry right now to see he courageous, absolutely courageous.
Mark is just like, one of the most courageous souls, I think, in the wrestling business right now. And I felt very privileged that I got to be there for it. I was so bummed that we missed his match at Revolution on the kickoff, but I mean, this more than made up for it. Now, it would have definitely made up for it even more if he did win the television title, but I think that's a whole other story. But Samoa Joe...
And this is where it began.
Yeah, this is where our bad luck of the weekend began, which sucks because this is a really good match, Tomas. I think Joe has shared the ring on many an occasion with Jay Briscoe when the ROH World title was involved, back when Jay was on that courageous underdog run of his own. And Joe was a big enemy for Jay Briscoe, and now he's wrestling Jay's little brother here for the television title. Joe was kind of playing the cowardly game at first, kind of like building up, okay, this is like, I'm going to play mind games with you. There was a table involved on the outside. He's...
This match was the classic, the hero trying to valiantly fight back while the big bad guy snuffs out every opportunity. I feel like when Mark tried to build up some momentum, Joe was there to snuff him out with a stiff elbow or the running kick or his excellent submission game. Mark is coming back. He goes for a froggy bow and he misses. Some great
he hit it. He hit the froggy bow.
He hit the froggy bow? Oh,
yeah.
It was a kick out from the froggy bow. But he pulls off the redneck kung fu, which is a funny spot. But we all knew that if Mark was going to win this match, he was going to win it with the J driver, the J driller, which I think he outright said in promos that he's going to win the television title with his brother's finisher.
Yep,
we all
didn't do
saw
it
coming.
It couldn't. Samoa Joe, he could not. So the thing is, Samoa Joe is a big, stocky individual, as I'm sure we all know. And Mark Briscoe, somehow, some way, he just couldn't lift up Samoa Joe for the J Driller. And Joe takes advantage of this, like the dastardly heel that he is. He puts Mark in the coquina clutch. Mark valiantly fights for a minute, and then the referee stops the match and awards the match to Samoa Joe, retaining the title after passing out in the coquina clutch. And I was sitting there like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With Mark Briscoe's extended family sitting in the front row, you're not going to give him the win here? That is a curious move, Tony. And that
it was. And at first, I was kind of sitting there like, well, and I the fact that I was thinking this kind of not makes me sick, but like, Gee, I wish I could go back to being blissfully ignorant, but well, maybe they want Mark to work for it a little harder. Maybe they want to build him up more. But this is another Tony Khan classic. Like, give him the title shot, have him lose, and make him work his way back up. But I feel like if you weren't going to put the title on him here, then the match shouldn't have happened in the first place.
No,
Um,
no.
like you said, his family was there. His brother just passed away. And I feel like Mark is more than capable of holding, because Mark has already said in interviews that he is never wrestling traditional tag team matches ever again. He said he'll do
there was a
matches,
point.
he'll do 8-man tags, and he'll do one-on-ones, but you will never see Mark Briscoe in a 2-on-2 ever again.
There was a point in the match even where Mark was crawling to the corner asking his brother for a tag.
Fuck.
God, why didn't he fucking win this? Why didn't he fucking win this? And like the only logical excuse that I can think of, and for those of you who are sitting here thinking that a Mark Briscoe win would have been exploiting Jay's death, you're wrong. Because Mark Briscoe absolutely deserved to beat Samoa Joe, regardless of if Jay's in the picture. So Mark Briscoe can stand on his own, guys. He really can. And
for people who think it's just the exploitation, remember, AEW was trying to get the Briscoes on TV before Jay died. This was a Warner Brothers thing, but then kept him off. And if you want to say, oh, sympathy, put that on Warner Brothers. This is just, if Jay was still alive, the Briscoes were the tag team champions. Let me remind you that. So I don't think this is any derailing of Mark's current push. I think this is an excellent blessing. I don't even want to say that, like an opportunity in disguise. And Mark has shown that he is charismatic, that he is endearing, and that the fans, he's over. He's organically over with the crowd.
Love Mark.
I hate that this is like Tony Khan's, I'm going to experiment first and see how Mark Briscoe performs out there. No, it's like, this was, again, another example of you missed the shot. This would have been an excellent moment. You could have had a WrestleMania moment of your own with Mark Briscoe winning the TV title. Also, tell me, why does Samoa Joe need to keep the TV title right now?
This would not be the only time a Samoa Joe would ruin my night.
So I'm going to give the match 3.5 stars. It was fun on its own. Obviously would have got bigger if Mark would have won the title. But let's just say going into this next match, we were all kind of deflated.
Yeah.
We just
before we continue,
the moment was ripped away from us.
Yeah, before we continue, I'm going to give the match 3 3/4. I think these two worked really well together. Samoa Joe clearly, he loves the Briscoes to pieces in real life. And I'm sure it was a real treat for him to work with Mark in this match. But yeah, I mean, I've seen Samoa Joe wrestle live a million times. He's lost every single time. I mean, him losing here wouldn't have made much of a difference, I think. So let's put him back on AEW TV. Just have him win the AEW World title. How about that? How about that, Tony? Is that too tough? Is that too tough?
No, because there's another Ring of Honor star. He would much rather be world champion right now.
Yeah. Anyhow, so Mark Briscoe loses and we're all kind of deflated. Tomas gets up and he takes a little bit of a breather, which is strange considering what the next match is.
No, that wasn't the case. I was taking a bathroom break, and while I was on my bathroom break, I decided to walk the concourse a little because I was looking for a damn merch stand because I saw somebody with a Ring of Honor bag, and I'm like, where's the damn merch stand? And I'm not kidding. I walked for a good 5 minutes before realizing I'm straying way too far from my section. I need to get a snack and I need to get back. But it's from Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia in a special attraction match. Nothing against Tanahashi and Garcia. I just needed the bathroom, and this was like
there was no build. There was no build for this.
Kind of no build, just like a surprise on Ring of Honor TV. I'm gonna let Zack take this one because, like I said, I wandered a little too hard in this building, and by the time I got back and sat down, the match was over.
Yeah. Oops. It was cool to see Tanahashi live do his thing, and the crowd was definitely behind him. Daniel Garcia was definitely playing, the cocky little shitbag heel that he usually is with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Garcia does a Tanahashi fights, he's obviously, big baby face here. Daniel Garcia is doing some Shinsuke Nakamura impressions, which, if you think about it, are extremely racist considering who he's up against. I'm like, that's not the famous charismatic Japanese wrestler you're fighting, buddy. Figure it out. Figure it out. Tanahashi, Sling Blades, it's a pretty standard Ring of Honor match, I would say. Tanahashi hits a high fly flow and beats Daniel Garcia via pinfall. Garcia refuses to shake Tanahashi's hand and does not adhere to the code of honor, which is strange. Daniel Garcia was teasing leaving the JAS when Jericho was the Ocho, holding the ROH World title. Now he's just right back doing what he was before Jericho became the champion.
Very peculiar. Very, very peculiar. And I feel like Garcia was getting with the crowd, and that was just, God forbid we split up this fucking Jericho faction. God fucking bid.
God forbid. God forbid. But, I don't want to say it was a bad match because Tanahashi was in there and Daniel Garcia is a perfectly competent wrestler. It was good, but I don't want to say it was like overly exciting. There was no build. There was no build. No. It was a last minute addition. But okay.
But this next match, holy crap.
This picked my spirits up for sure. The Reach for the Sky ladder match to crown brand new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions since the Briscoes. Yeah. So anyway, what we have here, you have the World Tag Team titles, the new Tag Team title belts hanging high above the ring because Mark gets to keep the old titles. You have Roosh and Dralistico, you have the Kingdom, you have Top Flight, you have Aussie Open, and you have the Lucha Brothers. Oh boy, was this a mess in the best possible way. I had so much fun with this. This is absolutely, I saw 2 ladder matches in the span of 24 hours. Easily is the superior one of the 2. Despite something that happens towards the latter part of this match, no pun intended, that just absolutely, I think it puts a sour taste on this match if you go back and rewatch it. Definitely not for the faint of heart if you're squeamish.
Yes, absolutely. But before that, allow me to try my best Bobby Cruz impression. And the fact that La Facción Inguanobles was in this match, I just saw that name and I just love the way Bobby Cruz says that. This is probably some of the most underrated tag teams in AEW, along with some Ring of Honor talent with some New Japan flair in this match. And I want to say this was my match of the night. This was really, really fun. I love my ladder matches, as you know. Lucha Brothers are freaking awesome. I love the Kingdom. They're my favorite OG Ring of Honor tag team.
Maria Kanellis.
It's always a joy to see Aussie Open in the States wrestling their thing. And Roosh and Dralistico, they're awesome in their own right. Can we get out of the way now? The stupid chant.
Aussie, climb.
It was cool, but then when they were trying to get it over, I'm just like, no, it's not going to be a thing.
It's a pun. I liked it. Calm down. I was chanting it with those blokes.
It got stuck in my head for the rest. It's still stuck in my head. But this was what's the best? Anarchy Incarnate is the best way to describe this match. It's another crazy match you can't call blow for blow because, again, you got the Lucha Brothers in there. You got Dralistico in there. You got, it was a perfect tandem offense of, your high flying stuff. And then you had Aussie Open and, the Taven and Bennett that brought the stiff style into there.
Oh, yeah.
This was
Taven,
so much fun to watch. And of course,
Top Flight looks great in this, and they were central to the match until something extremely horrific happened. But Taven power bombing Dralistico through a ladder was just insane to see. Another ladder break that I saw live, and I'm like, damn, those things, like, seeing them on TV doesn't really do it justice. It doesn't, like, it comes off very contrived and everything like that if you see it on TV, but live, man, is a hit different.
Yeah.
Looks like it freaking hurts. And oh boy.
So we see the Kingdom setting up tables on the outside. And whenever I see that, I immediately get flashbacks to Armageddon 2002 and Shawn Michaels careening through the castle of a ladder. Through the castle of tables that helped Triple H recapture the World Heavyweight Championship. But
Mm-hmm.
what happened here was a lot more sinister, and this is just, oh
Yeah.
my God.
This
So
was
the
stupid. This was
Luchas,
stupid. Didn't need to happen.
the Luchas are fighting with Top Flight, and the ladder is set up, and there's another ladder like sandwiched in the middle of the rungs. And you see where Penta is going with this, and he goes for a fear factor off the ladder through the two tables, and Dante Martin's ankle literally almost snaps off the bone. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I have watched this clip so many times. It's tied with Finn Balor's gash for the most horrific injury of the weekend. And I've seen it in slow motion.
God.
Like I said, if you're squeamish, don't seek this clip out. But literally, when you see Dante's feet hit the floor, his ankle literally twists in a 360-degree angle. And it is, I didn't realize it watching the match. I heard Dante got fucked up. But it wasn't until we got back to the hotel room that night, and I saw the clips floating around, and I said, holy fucking shit, is Dante okay? This is like as bad as Psycho Sid's injury in 2000, the boot off the top rope.
That is,
bad.
yeah, I mean, it just amazes me to say that you rewatch this clip multiple times. I don't even think I could sit through it once. Like,
It's it's bad. It's horrific. Like Zach alluded to, some spots are absolutely insanely stupid, and this was a flip pile driver off a ladder through
the destroyer.
Yeah, it was. You hate to see these guys put themselves through this unnecessarily unsafe pain just to entertain us. So,
and let's just
Dante
say,
Martin, it's going to be a long time until we see Top Flight again together, which breaks my heart and makes me sad saying it out loud. But Dante, I hope you can return to the ring one day, because yeah, it's horrible.
It would be after that injury, I'd say it would be an absolute miracle if Dante Martin makes it back in time for the next Supercard of Honor.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a long time before we see Dante again, which sucks because he had so much potential. But
anywho, on a brighter note, kind of, after that, the Luchas are able to capture the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. They are the new Ring of Honor Tag Team champions. I am very happy to see this. I kind of wanted the Kingdom because I'm just a Kingdom mark. But the Luchas are my favorite tag team in AEW. So the fact that they're not just sitting on their hands doing nothing is really cool that they put the titles on these guys.
And they were over. They were over too.
A moment afterward where we kind of got a curtain call moment where the Luchas, Mark Briscoe, the Kingdom, almost every tag team in the match embraced Mark for a tear-jerking moment. And then FTR hit the stage, which got a huge pop because they were the last people the Briscoes beat for the tag team titles, and everyone raises their hands, and it's just like, it's a beautiful tribute to Jay Briscoe. And now those tag team titles are going to be immortalized because Mark's going to hang on to those forever. This was 4.5 stars, regardless of the horrific injury to Dante Martin. This was so much fun, and I feel like this was the match that had me most excited for this show.
Oh yeah, I would say 4.5 stars as well. I was definitely just excited to see a massive amount of chaos and tag team wrestling at its finest. And this is, after talking about it, this is tied for match of the night with the opener. Leaning more towards this match just based on the outcome and everything, and just Dante Martin's injury is obviously horrific, but everything else was perfectly solid in this match. I thought Roosh looked like a badass in here. The Kingdom looked like, a mix of cowardly heels and just like really conniving villains as well. Like, everybody played their part really well. Aussie Open was really good. Lucha Brothers were the obvious pick to win these bad boys. And it's sometimes the most obvious pick is the best choice. In this case it was. So
100%.
Yeah. But
next up, we have a pure wrestling match. The Pure Championship is on the line. Wheeler Yuta is defending against Katsuyori Shibata. And if you don't know about Shibata, I'm going to tell you about Shibata. Shibata is known for cracking his fucking skull on a headbutt a couple years ago. So hard. It took him out of wrestling for 2 years.
He
You want to
almost
talk about
died.
you should not look out, seek out. It's that one because you know what? I did it and I regret it. You do never want to hear the sound of a human skull cracking. It
No.
is horrific and it is puke inducing. But somehow this man came back to wrestling after this and he's challenging Yuta for the Pure Championship. If you don't know what a Pure Wrestling match rules is, this is something that Ring of Honor introduced during the pandemic. It's a take on more catch can style of wrestling, where it's not about, the massive blows. It's not about the high spots. It's about what the title says, pure wrestling. And there are some rules in this pure wrestling style. So wrestlers only get 3 rope breaks. That's where they're breaking up a pin, breaking up a submission. And once they exhaust those 3 rope breaks, you can no longer use the ropes. So if you're in a submission hold and you grab the ropes, doesn't save you anymore. Can't save you from a pinfall. Closed fists are illegal. If you hit with a closed fist, you're issued a warning. If you do it a second time, you were disqualified.
Yeah.
There is a 60-minute time limit. And I also believe there's another rule in there that I forgot.
Wheeler Yuta, by the way, breaking some of these rules, hitting Shibata with some closed fists on his once cracked skull. How is Shibata still alive? It's just insane to me that this, like, Shibata's a badass. Like, if you really, really, really study his tapes and everything. But Wheeler was breaking some of the rules using some closed fists, and a very popular chant was "Fuck you, Wheeler" during this match. Newly turned heel. A lot of people like that chant for whatever reason, but
yeah, Yuta's a little bitch, so he deserved it.
He is a little bitch, isn't he?
I didn't dislike this match, but I'm gonna have a very hard take on this. The pure wrestling rules matches were better when there were no crowds, because I was watching Ring of Honor when they came back from their hiatus after the pandemic, and there was just something about this pure style of wrestling that worked better when there was no audience, because this style of match is definitely an acquired taste. And I feel like the past few pure matches I've seen, they end before they can really kick into that 4th gear, if that makes sense.
Shibata pins Wheeler. Shibata pins Wheeler and becomes the pure champion.
This match only went 13 minutes, but I've seen some pure matches in the pandemic era that went well over 20 minutes. And I just don't think a modern wrestling crowd has the patience for that kind of match, which is a shame, because go back and watch some of those pandemic matches where there's no crowd. It's some of the best wrestling I've seen in my life. So I just don't think the pure rules are transitioning well to live crowds.
No, the crowd wasn't really into this match as much as they should have been, because they just saw a freaking chaotic ladder match with a horrific injury. Yeah. So I'm going to go... this match is tough to rate. I think it was a really pleasant surprise to see Shibata win this one. Just because Wheeler Yuta's a little piece of shit. But anyway.
Yeah, it was cool to see a new champion, because Yuta and Garcia, I feel like, have been flip-flopping the titles. So this was welcome. And I never want to see... It's just, I hope Shibata never throws a headbutt again, as long as he
No. Certainly has to change his style. Oh boy. You ready for this one?
No.
Okay. Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio, Swiss man from Up Up Down Down, defending the Ring of Honor World title against Eddie Kingston. This is a blood feud if I ever saw one, because it's been well noted these two really did not want to work as a team during Blood and Guts. These two hated each other. And, like, the fact that they're working a match together is just insane to me.
To quote my friend Sean, somebody forgot to tell Eddie Kingston that wrestling is fake, because he takes his storylines so freaking seriously. But you know what? We can only dream to have half the passion that Eddie has, because he just loves his business so very much. And I feel like this match didn't have a lot of build into it, not including, this is a rivalry going back 10 plus years ago, before Claudio Castagnoli came to WWE and he was in Shikara. He had a blood feud with Eddie Kingston, which they were still tied at 1 win apiece. That Kingston was for sure to remind Castagnoli when he came to AEW, like, hey, motherfucker, you still owe me one more match.
Yeah, Claudio didn't want to give it to him. Claudio didn't want to give it to him.
Yeah, I feel like this didn't have a lot of build to it, but it was so fun when the match got started.
Oh
And
yeah, it was physical. It was a
This
yeah.
is Tony Khan's favorite trope in the world.
It is a
Eddie and
very
Hell.
yep, very physical main event for sure. I don't know about you, Tomas, but on a lighter note, I feel like I was the only one in the Galen Center actually cheering for Claudio. Everybody else was looking at me like, "Oh man, Eddie Kingston is gonna fucking kick his head in." And I'm like, I like Claudio. I mean, you guys
Yeah,
should all like Claudio too.
no, it's not like we don't like Castagnoli, but I feel like in this environment, it was like the perfect case of Castagnoli's the heel and Kingston is the face. And when this match kicked into four gear, we really, really, really wanted Eddie to win. It's like, I know Castagnoli just won the title back, but he turned heel and he's in the BCC. I feel like this is another case of all of the pieces where, all the stars were aligned. We wanted to see Kingston win this world title, and he is famously known in kayfabe. He left AEW because he didn't like the politics, and he came to Ring of Honor, to get a better, to get more opportunities. And I feel like this just would have been the perfect opportunity to get our feel good moment. Where's our
Well,
goddamn feel good moment?
he's got to go through more adversity to get to the big one.
Oh my God. So we had some really good near falls at the end of this.
Oh
No
yeah,
Claudio swing because I feel like it's too much of a babyface thing for him to do.
you don't
Some
say.
excellent Gotch style uppercuts. Eddie kicks out of the Gotch neutralizer, which got a big pop out of us.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Castagnoli sets up for the Ricola bomb, and Kingston reverses it into a roll up, which came so goddamn close.
Claudio was also out of this world in this match. Please do not like overlook his performance. He was hitting those deadlift suplexes on Eddie Kingston. I mean, Eddie Kingston looked like a freaking star in this. Don't overlook Claudio. Even if he won this match, he was still hitting deadlift suplexes on Eddie, which, considering Eddie's build is not the easiest thing to do. He hits a big gigantic deadlift and it's just so freaking impressive every time he does it.
Zack, I didn't know if you knew this, but pound for pound, Claudio Castagnoli is the strongest wrestler in Ring of Honor.
Oh my God! Yes, I know. Michael Cole told me that for freaking years, and I still.
Also, did you know that if you were to build the perfect WWE superstar from the ground up, you'd get Randy Orton?
Oh my God! Oh, I thought you were gonna say Claudio, but yeah. To your point, he goes for a Ricola bomb. Eddie Kingston rolls through and very close fucking kick out, and Claudio rolls through of his own and just barely gets a 3 count, and Eddie Kingston fucking loses. It's just. And Tomas is just sick of the babyface losing and just sick of being there live.
So fucking wrong with the babyface winning the championship.
Nothing.
But I get it. Storytelling. But you know what? Professional wrestling is fake. And if we want our moment, we should get our fucking moment. This one is probably a tad more frustrating than the Cody Rhodes one. Let me tell you why. Because Eddie Kingston never wins. Eddie Kingston never fucking wins.
Timeout. More frustrating than Cody Rhodes not winning the world championship for the first time.
I said a tad in this instance.
Bro.
Because let me tell you, Eddie Kingston never fucking wins.
But the thing is,
never wins.
I know he never wins.
Again, it's just like Tony Khan. Do you have any plans for him to win, period? So it's just like, it's so frustrating to watch again and again and again to see this guy's passion for the wrestling business. And it's just so frustrating. And I don't know, maybe I'm just saying this because this is the third time we're talking about something like this. But it's just like, God damn, throw us a bone. And here's the thing. I see Cody Rhodes winning the world title. I see eventually Mark Briscoe getting the television title. But do they have any plan whatsoever to go back to this one and put the world title on Eddie Kingston? I don't know. And that's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, it's I get what you're saying. I really do. But it's not like they had Eddie King. It's not like Claudio had a record or anything like that where they sacrificed Eddie Kingston's moment. It's not like, God, man, I'm just so
I get what you're
sick of
saying.
being there live for the babyface losing.
I think I'm just frustrated. This is the third time I'm talking about this in the past couple of weeks because out of the 4 big title matches with this sort of feel, only one of them got a satisfying payout. And that was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning the tag team titles.
And it was predictable. We knew that they were winning.
Exactly. Cody Rhodes winning should have been predictable. It would have been nice to see Mark Briscoe win the television title or get the, I hate this term, the upset of the year and see Eddie win the Ring of Honor World title. Claudio Castagnoli has his own fucking business on AEW with the BCC. Eddie Kingston can be exclusively to Ring of Honor and he can carry that flag.
Mm-hmm.
So frustrating. I hope they circle back to this. I hope, again, this is Tony Khan's favorite trope in the world, it feels like. Don't put the title on Danielson. Don't put the title on Mark Briscoe. Don't put the title on Eddie Kingston.
Don't put the title on Cody Rhodes. And Cody brought that with him to WrestleMania, didn't he? I don't know if it was his idea to lose. Obviously, I don't think it was, but...
Apparently, according to Cody's sister on Twitter, he hates losing. So it's very weird to see that he's so willing to lose so much. But I
gotta go through hard times just like his old man did.
I'm going to give this match 4 stars. This was a very fun main event, but just a very annoying finish.
It was a very physical main event. I really, you felt like these guys legitimately hated each other. And if you knew the inside stuff of what these guys have been through backstage through Shikara and everything like that, you knew that these guys were going to beat the absolute ever-loving tar out of one another. So they did that.
After the match, Yuka comes out and they, just to celebrate with Castagnoli, and they start to circle Eddie. That's when we get the return of Shibata. Shibata, they don't even fight off the BCC. Shibata kind of just gives them a death stare and they back off. Kingston and Shibata embrace, and I don't know if that was just to send the crowd home happy, but that's whatever. Kingston cuts a scathing promo when the cameras go off, or near when the cameras go, and I love this from Eddie so much. He just gets so fucking mad, and he just goes, "Oh, what? I only have a few seconds. Well, you know what? You give MJF 10 minutes on TV. Give me the fucking mic for a few minutes," and it's so entertaining to see him.
It just throws so much vulgarity into he's to the production guy. How long do I have? A minute? Fuck, shit, ass. And I'm like, geez, you just.
And Kingston just goes on this frustrated, just he always does this, and I love this. This is how much he loves the business, how much he loves everybody coming out to the show. And again, I just think it's time for an not traditional hero like an Eddie Kingston to be the world champion. I don't even remember what it was like having a babyface world champion. It's been that long.
Maybe they should have thought about that. But I'm going to give Supercard of Honor 2023 an 8 out of 10, believe it or not. I thought it was a really fun show live. It was really fun to share it with Tomas here and everybody else around us with their stupid Aussie, climb chants. But Galen Center was a great venue. I would have gone a higher score if we got some new babyface champions, specifically Mark Briscoe. But,
I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 as well. This was the adrenaline. This was the cold splash of water I needed in my face because I was exhausted and I didn't know what was going to get out of this show. And I got a really fun night of professional wrestling. I would love to go to another Ring of Honor show. And this was super fun.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about more Ring of Honor. If you guys have any ideas, if there's any throwback Ring of Honor shows that you guys want us to look at, if you have any recommendations, let us know down in the comments.
Sign up for Honor Club.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives us an excuse to sign up for Honor Club. Absolutely. But hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. Look forward to our experience podcast. Like I've mentioned a few times on these wrestling pods, but we're going to be going no holds barred. It's going to be completely out in the open. We're going to be honest about what happened that week and tell our story and how we
went to Vegas or something.
Yeah, I know. We did. We went to WrestleMania. Soon enough, Mania is going to be in Vegas, but It's
What
gonna
happens
be,
at WrestleMania stays at WrestleMania.
well, I mean, some of these stories they want to know. Some of these stories they
Yeah.
want to know. So I can't wait to share those with you guys. And I think it'll be a fun, chillaxing night of the ZNT Wrestling Show. Stay tuned for that and much, much more. And commence that back talk. Take care, guys.